should be an independent thinker. And in New Hampshire, I think a lot of our politicians are. I don't think, as a president, you should put all your focus towards foreign policy. It just doesn't seem like you can afford housing. Like with what wages are, voting for her, and she's a Democrat.
Hmm.
Um, just because I think she's a stronger. I'm still going to graduate and be in an enormous amount of debt. I'm not going to be able to buy a home for a while, and people who are on Obamacare who fear being taken off of it with no real plan to back that up. So I feel like domestic policy is kind of holding me back. If it was foreign policy, I'd probably give them an A minus, because I agree with most of the stuff they've been doing. But domestic policy, I wish that they would be doing more. His State of the Union, kind of like Mike was touching on, sounded great. It was like all of these great things, but where's the implementation of that? I hope it's not complacency where they're at, because if it is, I don't think that's a good spot to be at.
I feel like kind of like Mike, I'm more in the middle. I feel like the killing ICE thing is a huge problem. I feel like what they're doing it's scary, and for our future generations to look at that as past history and be like, what was going on? Like, how could you go about and supporting this guy? I feel like we need change, and the only way we're going to do that is through promises that he said he was going to do.
What ICE is doing? I don't know if I mean, on some level.
I would say on.
Yeah, does anyone regret their vote?
I feel like we're just going about it the wrong way. I feel like that if there's hardworking people here who have been in this country and have, yes, maybe wrongfully entered the country, I feel like there's a better way to go about it than raiding and killing and instant deportation. Like, why isn't there an option for them to able to establish citizenship in some form way, or like go through a certain process? Why are they coming in guns blazing so heavy on the fact that they did this the incorrect way and then that's it? There's no sort of sympathy for it.
I like the fact that he would be someone who would think for themselves, not just. I think one of my biggest issues with him has actually been how kind of he subjects, which I know it happens all the time, but he subjects the Democratic Party as they're the evil lunatics, they're the Democrats. This person labeling them, well, of course they're like this, they're the Democrats, they're a Democrat. It's just, it gets to a point where you need to have some bipartisan, and I think that's going to hit Trump hard after the midterms, because I do believe that the Democrats will take back the House, and I do believe then he's going to have to, after saying all this, come to them and try to negotiate with them, and that's going to be harder for him after he spent the first 2 years as president. He's kind of like making them out to be the bad guys. Yes, I'm thinking of actually switching my voter registration to New Hampshire, and if that was the.
Definitely disappointed, yet if I was given the same question and asked Kamala or Trump, still probably would choose Trump at this moment. Disappointment comes from ICE, especially. I mean, ICE agents coming into people's homes, taking people off the streets. It's saddening, and it's not going to bring our country together, and it's going to pull us all apart, and that's exactly what you're seeing done right now. Democrats and Republicans are absolutely at war with each other all the time. Sometimes you feel like there cannot be a discourse because the other side's evil. You can't negotiate with evil people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see those ICE things happening, people dying to ICE agents on American soil, it's disgusting. Disgusting to say the least. I do agree with a lot of his business policies. Tariffs, I think that is an American first thing. And I feel like they worked mostly. Supreme Court ruled that a few of them were not legal and were not right, so that obviously disappointed with that as well. It feels like Trump is more pulling the country apart than bringing us all together.
But anyway, but
It feels like Trump has completely separated everybody into one or the other category. And so, towards the end of the presidency, I'd love to see him bring people together. If that's what it is, he'd deliver on your policies that you believed, do what you said you were going to do, and bring people together. That's what I would decide when Trump did a great job.
What
For college Republicans, I have to go. Tariffs were coming, and I just sort of was like, oh, hopefully, I almost braced myself thinking how the IRS can go through on an individual basis and check everybody, make sure, you know, your taxes and everything are up to date, and if you don't, boy, look out. But when it comes to immigration, it's like, well, you know, we're just going to kind of either say everybody in, everybody out. And I think it's much more complex than that. That needs to be more of an individual thing. And if you have, and I know people in the United States who are here illegally, who, you know, are hardworking and who show up every day and work probably 10 times harder than some United States citizens. And I'd like to see them become members of our society and enter into public life. But they don't have that opportunity, and I think it's a shame, but I also think, you know, that's one of the things where individual basis is going to take care of that issue.
I'll be supporting it. I think it will get a few Republicans who support it. If you ask someone in their 20s about owning a home, that seems like a far-off notion, especially in a state like this where the median home price has gone up 170% over the last 15 years. So we got to make that dream within reach of more people.
I am. This is playing. She just likes to be held, right? Yeah. Well, I've always gone after the youth vote. Every vote counts. You know, I'll go anywhere and meet anybody, anytime, anywhere, whether it's somebody who's 100 years old or somebody who just registered to vote. And the fact that I have, you know, daughters, and, you know, one was on American Idol, played basketball at Boston College, and I have a rock band, and I coach girls varsity basketball. You know, it's not a stretch for me to go and walk in and start playing hoop with somebody, or go get up on stage and jam with, you know, some teenagers. You know, it's second nature.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.